Hello, everyone out there. I am Dr. McMahon, and welcome to this episode of Why Feminism Sucks, a public domain series, a documentary series. You're welcome to redistribute, and I highly encourage mirroring. A download link is located in the description below for this video, or you can rip it straight from YouTube, your choice. All my videos are capable of being downloaded at your leisure. In this video, it was more along the lines of our MGTOW buddies, because there's a lot of MGTOWs that talk about sex robots and artificial wombs and things of that nature. And this is an article from The Telegraph, also linked into the description below. Campaigners seek to ban humanoid sex robots. Dr. Kathleen Richardson said that human-like sex robots would look too much like real women and may contribute to gender inequalities in society. How that will contribute to gender inequalities is beyond me, but I have a sinking suspicion that it involves something along the lines of, well, we own your penis. Basically, we're women, we have vaginas, we make the rules, and we are entitled to your bodies, even though feminists prefer to say that, men shouldn't feel entitled to women's bodies, but it's okay for women to feel entitled to men's bodies. First off, let's see who the hell Dr. Kathleen Richardson is. This is the Montfort University. I just basically Google searched her name and picked the first site that basically was talking about her. Job: Senior Research Fellow in Ethics of Robotics, Faculty of Technology, School of Computer Science and Informatics, Center for Computing and Social Responsibility. Who cares about the address and all that? From what I'm seeing, there doesn't seem to really be anything shady about her. It says Kathleen Richardson is a Senior Research Fellow in the Ethics of Robotics and part of the Europe-wide DREAM project, development of robot-enhanced therapy for children with autism. She is also affiliated with the Viral Interest Group, PhD in the Department of Anthropology, and so she seems to be working more towards robotics for the disabled. Research interests and expertise is robots, digital social networking, autism, theater and technology, attachment theory, and therapy. Qualifications is philosophical doctorate in social anthropology, development planning and administration, Barlow School of Architecture and Planning, anthropology. So her qualifications is all social anthropology. She's not really into robotics. Okay. So she's not really qualified to speak. Okay. Maybe she is. I don't know. But from what I gather, she's probably full of shit. According to phys.org, also linked into the description below for you guys, we're not going to read the whole thing, but we're going to look up some interesting things regarding correlation. Legalizing child pornography is linked to lower rates of child sex abuse study. Now, why is this being looked at when we're talking about sex robots? I'll tell you here in just a sec. Because Dr. Kathleen Richardson said that the human-like sex robots look too much like real women and may contribute to greater gender inequalities in society. It also says in this article, the campaign against sex robots states, "We believe in the benefits of robots and technologies to our society and human cultures, but want to ensure that robotics develops ethically and that we do not reproduce inequalities with the development that could further reinforce disturbing human lived experiences. We are not proposing to extend rights to robots. We do not see robots as conscious entities. We propose that instead the robots are a product of human consciousness and creativity, and human power relationships are reflected in the production, design, and proposed uses of these robots. As a result, we oppose any efforts to develop robots that will contribute to gender inequalities in society." I can't tell if they're talking about this is going to increase rape rates or what. But anyway, the New York Times reported that Matt McMullen, who is in the process of developing sex robots capable of speech, his prototype is Denise, who speaks to him in the video. She says, "I have a lot of dreams. I dream of becoming a real person." She communicates her hopes to become the world's first sex robot, slowly moving her plump gloss lips and blinking vacantly. This is what campaigners want to ban, but tech enthusiasts hope to grow in sophistication. McMullen is hoping to sell his robots for £40,000. He thinks they will be a good thing for our sex lives, and the fact that as technology grows, humans will use it for sex. Then here's the kicker. They worry that this may desensitize people towards wants and needs of real women. In other words, the same argument we've heard before about male sex toys. So what I'm assuming they're meaning when they say they worry that they may desensitize people towards the wants and needs of real women are in fact people like our potential troll or Poe here from the Throwaway Feminist blog, and I had to come back to this one because I've seen other feminists say it, and this is the immediate source that I can get. However, the authenticity of this particular feminist is unknown. Like many other people, I also think it may very well be a Poe. So, without further ado, let's read what he or she has to say, because again, we don't know the gender of this individual. It could be very well a man pretending to be a female. Hell, for all you know, it could be me writing this shit. But anyway. It's funny how all the MRAs are up in arms about yes means yes stuff, like they just want to rape. Men don't want to get into committed relationships anymore anyway. Men already don't want to have sex with women just because they're all sexist pigs. So what do? They rape male sex toys like fleshlights and blow-up dolls and fulfill their sick and twisted rape fantasy on inanimate objects rather than having consensual sex with a woman. So overall, what have we been hearing a lot from feminists lately? This whole thing about rape culture? So you would think that Dr. Kathleen Richardson here wouldn't actually have a problem with the sex robots. And this wouldn't be an issue because, and let's get back to this on Phys.org, regarding legalizing child pornography is linked to lower rates in child sex abuse. Could making child pornography legal lead to lower rates of child sex abuse? It could well do, according to a new study by Milton Diamond from the University of Hawaii and colleagues. Now, again, I am going to state there's a reason why I'm going through this, because this encompasses a huge, broad spectrum of sex robots. And I honestly shit you not. Could a child sex robot treat pedophilia on the BBC News? Now, obviously, this also includes drawn porn as well, and this is something that has shown to decrease sexual aggression and things such as pedophilia and sexual assault and rape and things of that nature. Is if you end up having somebody that has a ready supply of child pornography, even if it's drawn or digital using like 3D programs like Poser or Maya, or even Blender 3D. Or you have a furry artist, for example, drawing little cub porn with adult furries, or mangas, or Lolita, or whatever. You end up having a lower rate. When Japan legalized a certain type of child pornography, meaning manga and art, Lolita and Lula, or whatever. I don't know the terms exactly. I don't know if it's Lolita, Lola, or whatever, and what those exactly mean. And I'm not going to look it up. But the idea here is that when Japan legalized this form of child pornography, their incidences of children actually being molested and raped had decreased dramatically. And that's one of those reasons why legalizing child pornography in certain forms, I mean, I'm not talking about like actually legalizing it so that you can film yourself having sex with a child. But it would also prevent other things like 17-year-old boys, for example, sexting their girlfriends wouldn't be put on the sex offender registry just for having a picture of their own dick. Just that for one sake of example. But it's also that it will decrease the amount of people because of abusing children because they can get their stimulation elsewhere. And for those people who are worried about the outliers, for example, who would actually look at the porn and then eventually be like, oh, that's not enough, I need something that feels real on my dick and looks real and sounds real. Well, you have sex robots, and that would, I assume, would obliterate child pornography, child sexual abuse and molestation, child rape, etc. And the same thing goes without saying when it comes to female sex robots. So let's see what some people have to say about sex robots. They can have my sex robot when they remove its cold dead hands from me. If you have a sex robot, you are a god. Confession number 9. When I was in college, me and a bunch of buddies tried to make a sex robot, and it worked. And what I'm referring to is the far right hand side here. And there's even some tweets embedded on the Telegraph article that's linked in the description below. Anyone who says they wouldn't have sex with a robot is either a liar or a coward. And a coward. Not living during a time where I could own a sex robot to satisfy my virgin troubles. Don't that feel when you have that feel when you'll never have a sex robot. Then we have this one from the Daily Caller. One of Richardson's chief objections to the innovative robots is that they will distort ideas surrounding relationships and reinforce sexism and misogyny. Speaking to the BBC, Richards said, "Sex robots seem to be growing focus in the robotics industry, and the models that they draw on, how they will look, what roles they would play, are very disturbing indeed. We think the creation of such robots will contribute to the detrimental relationships between men and women, adults and children, men and women," she added. But those at the heart of the drive for sex robots argue that it's not realistic to think the robots are intended to replace real girlfriends or wives, and that there is precious little evidence to suggest that they would reinforce harmful stereotypes. Douglas Hines, the chief executive of True Companion and the man behind the development of prototype sexybot Roxy, said, We're not supplanting the wife or trying to replace a girlfriend. This solution is for people who are between relationships or someone who has lost a spouse. Or, as I would argue, somebody that would just like a more sophisticated fleshlight to jerk off with, but whatever. Maybe something that could, potentially treat pedophiles. Like this thing here. But whatever. Fuck them. People can find happiness and fulfillment other than via human interaction. The campaign against sex robots website, whose partners include Women's Equality Party and the Campaign Against Killer Robots, said, "We believe the development of sex robots further objectifies women and children." Completely disregarding the fact that you can get a male sex robot, but let's forget that. The vision for sex robots is underscored by reference to prostitute John exchanged, the prostitute John exchange, which relies on recognizing only the needs and wants of the buyers of the sex. The sellers of sex are not attributed subjectively and reduced to a thing, just like the robot. Actually, there are many sex workers, including prostitutes, that do their job as a prostitute because they really enjoy it. I think Mercedes Carrera could actually attest that she does pornography just because she likes sex. But, whatever. I hate to say it, but I think Futurama predicted it. I think they did. I can't go anywhere right now. I want to continue staying out here and make out with my robot. But no, I don't see how this means anything other than feminists and social justice warriors are up in arms about it because they want it so that women can't be seen as having their bodies entitled to men, but they want it so that men's bodies are their entitlement. So it's kind of a reverse, kind of sort of double standard here. We can't expect women to have sex with us. That would be sexist. Oh, you have a sex toy? That's sexist. You have a fleshlight? That's sexist. Oh, I can have as many dildos as I want because I'm a woman. I have the vagina. I make all the rules. So you see, it's all about demonizing male sexuality while making female sexuality glorified. You're like, you can't have a sex robot because what about my vagina and my needs? Well, fuck your vagina and your needs. Because you, as a woman, in a heterosexual society, control all the sexual power. And the only reason you're pissed off about this shit, as a feminist, is because it removes the sexual power away from you. When a guy can no longer be forced to, constantly chase your raunchy ass fucking cobweb riddled pussy, then all of a sudden, we can't have this sex robots. I gotta get some dick in my pussy. I didn't want it before, but now I do. Well, fuck you. Okay? I'm sure many of the MGTOWs out there would like this, and Time-Like-01 I actually enjoy putting this on his own channel. You're welcome to do so, dude, because I know you've spoken about this before at length. Anyway, thank you very much for watching this video. If you like it, please rate, comment, and subscribe, and don't forget to share it with your friends, even on your own channel. Bye.